Miami, a place where the sun meets the sea and the pulse of the city never slows down. A community fueled by culture, celebration, and heat. Lots of heat. Sounds like the perfect stop in this round of 8.
Watch for a lot of action. This is going to heat up.
One driver locked in, 7 left battling for a chance at the championship.
And no crash in turn number 4.
It's full throttle to the checkered because a win gets you in. And you know Miami knows how to party.
The pressure's on.
Miami's ready. Are you?
Dream come true.
Let's find out.
Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. Truckers are lined up, 34 of them. They're ready to put on a show, and we can't wait to do it. A lot of storylines to follow. I mean, it's all right in front of us, gentlemen. It's the playoffs.
And the fall off here on this racetrack is something special here. These guys will be running up against the wall trying to find some grip.
Inches away from the wall for all these laps in a row. Who doesn't make a mistake? Who keeps it together today?
That's what it all comes down to. Well, without further ado, let's go trackside to hear the most famous words in racing and kick things off.
Homestead-Miami Speedway, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Please welcome Chief Executive Officer for Baptist Health Homestead Hospital, Ken Spell.
Drivers, start your engine!
Well, it's a 2-day event here for the truckers, and Homestead qualifying took place on Friday. And Corey Heim, who has 6 wins on the season, it's his first pole of the year.
5 second-place starts, first pole.
Got it done when it matters most.
Raja and Nick here on row 2. Those trucks are going to be fast when we go racing here in a little bit.
Guy Majeski, another one of those guys above the cut line. And Caden Honeycutt announced that he will be full-time next year.
Good for him. That's going to be a great pairing next year.
Danny Dye, Christian Eckes, and there's Grant Enfinger on row 5. Phil, see if you can get a word with him.
Yeah, let's do that.
Phil, push the button. We're having communication issues. Oh, there we
Here
go.
we go. Hey, Grant Enfinger, this is Phil Parsons in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
I do. I was wondering who had an open mic and keying up, but yeah, I now found out it's you and Michael.
Well, that was a little bit of a miscommunication on our part. But anyway, how has this 3-week vacation has been for you since that huge win at Talladega, knowing that you're going to Phoenix to race for a championship?
Vacation, I don't know about, but it's definitely a huge advantage for our CR7 Motorsports team. Not only to get our first win, but to lock ourselves into Phoenix allows us a little bit of extra preparation and allows us to be a little bit gutsier with our decisions today. So I honestly think we got a champion power equipment Chevy that's strong enough to potentially contend for another win today. So I think for us that's the only thing that matters. So we're gonna do our best to do it.
Grant Enfinger, it's Waltrip. How difficult for the viewers at home is it to manage that grip right out next to the wall, running that high on the racetrack? How challenging is that?
It's definitely challenging. I think it's a little bit more so in the truck with the way our bodies are and the way our motors and gears work. There's still an advantage to running the wall, but obviously it's a bigger penalty when you do touch it. So, man, I mean, like yesterday in practice, we had quite a bit more grip when I was really close to the wall, and substantially less grip when I was 4 or 5 feet away. So, just managing that, that's another situation where we have a little bit of advantage this week. I can be a little bit more aggressive with that, but yeah, in the truck, it's definitely, walking the line.
Buddy, we appreciate you talking to us. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Well, we have 2 pit reporters, per usual, covering all the action on pit road, Amanda Busick and Todd Bodine. Mr. Bodine, a 2-time winner here. I hope you're sharing all that wealth of knowledge that you have.
I would just give it to anybody who want to listen, Jamie, but these young guys say I'm just an old guy that won a few races, so no big deal. But yeah, today, you know, it's different than when I won all those races in the 2 championships. So we raced under the regular points format. Today, these guys race under the playoff format, and there's always that one guy that goes from round to round just scratching and clawing trying to get points. Today in Homestead, that guy is Tyler Ankrum. He's minus 23 to the cut line. They've got to get points. Yeah, they're here to win the race, but the reality is getting points. And Mark Hillman is crew chief, who I call my big little brother, because Mark was my truck chief for 7 years. And Mark, we won those 2 championships, but we won them in different circumstances. We won them on the old format points, and we didn't have stage racing. So how has those 2 things changed how a crew chief thinks about these races?
Well, I mean, with the points the way they are today, we were looking at 36 points, and we only had to execute the end of the race for points. Today's world, you got 20 extra points, so you can get 55, 56 points in a full race, and you got to execute all the stages, right? So that makes you have to focus on stage 1, stage 2 points throughout the race, and then be there at the end with no mistakes.
So we're going for points today. That's what the plan is here with Mark Hillman. Take it down to you, Amanda.
Yeah, Todd, another team going for points today is that 17 of Taylor Gray. We took a look at the highlight from Grant Enfinger's win at Talladega, and racing right alongside him was Taylor Gray for his first win. It was a runner-up finish that Taylor Gray called brutal, but said that he's ready to move on from it. His crew chief, Jeff Hensley, told him that, hey, if there's ever a person to lose to, it is Grant Enfinger. He is the best to ever do it on speedways. He has his best qualifying effort here this weekend in Miami, starting from the 2nd position. If he capitalizes on that here today, Taylor will be in great position at our penultimate race in Martinsville next Friday. Jamie?
Thank you, Amanda. Yes, so many storylines, so much on the line. And what a great racetrack to come to. This is a place that drivers, they call it their favorite place to race. It's going to be fun. And Mikey, how about our Craftsman track description?
I like track descriptions because the numbers really mean a lot to these guys, but you just can't put it into words what it's like to drive around this place. 1.5 miles in length, up to 180 miles an hour. The banking is variable. That's why when Grant's talking about there's more grip next to the wall, the higher up there you can get, the faster you can go, and that's the line that they're going to be walking. That's your Craftsman track description.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. You see this race is 134 laps, 200 miles. Stage 1's 30, stage 2 is 30. You see that final stage at 74 laps, and our pit window somewhere between 50 and 55. I think if we get a green flag run in that 3rd stage, we're going to see green flag pit stops, probably starting around lap 100 to 105. So it'd be fun to watch.
That's when we're really going to have to start leaning on our stat guys and listening to the radios, figuring out who's doing what as far as strategy goes and gaining those points early in this race.
Well, we have 2 onboards to follow along with today.
Yeah, this is the Infinity Communications onboard for Lane Riggs. Lane, 2-time winner already this season. Unfortunately, didn't make the playoffs. And more bad news that he will have to go to the back of the pack because he was underweight in the post-qualifying weigh-in. So it's going to be fun to watch that 38 come from the back.
Let's hop on board with Daniel Dye, Race to Stop Suicide onboard camera on his Chevrolet. He's going to roll from the 7th position. Daniel's had a great season. See if he can get a win here late in the year.
He's always in the middle of the action. Looking forward to that. We're about to heat things up here in South Florida. 134 laps, 200 miles of racing action coming your way next. Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway, where we're just getting ready for the green flag to drop. It's race number 21 of 23 on the season. A lot of puffy clouds overhead, nice and warm. We mentioned the drivers to the rear. Mentioned Lane Riggs. Truck was a little lighter than NASCAR like. They had to make that adjustment, add some weight. And Tanner Gray in the 15 yesterday scraped the wall, had to make some unapproved adjustments there. And Matt Mills in the 42 had a transmission issue, so they will all drop to the rear.
You know, we talk about running inches away from the wall, and I was watching practice yesterday, and Tanner Gray, I thought maybe it was the guy that was up there the highest. Well, unfortunately, he got into the outside wall and had to do repairs, was not able to qualify.
I think Grant explained it so well to the viewers at home. You know, the closer you get, the more speed there is, but that's a tight line to walk for sure.
You got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable if you want to run up there.
Yeah, and remember, these are steel bodies on these trucks. The Xfinity cars, as well as the Cup cars, have composite bodies, and those composite bodies have a little more memory. But you poke a steel body in, and it stays in there. Unfortunately, see a lot of cut tires after wall contact.
Good view of Daniel Dye there. Is on board, focused. You better be focused, because when they say go, get to turn one, it's going to be on, Phil.
Yeah, you saw the two pieces of tape on his steering wheel. One of those will tell him when his steering wheel is straight going down the straightaway, and the other piece of tape is where he wants that steering wheel when he makes a pit stop, because those guys will probably want that wheel turned a little bit to make sure they can get those tires out from under the fenders.
So Corey Heim, that 11 truck on the inside, starting on pole for the first time this season. Taylor Gray first front row start of his career. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway as they fan out all over behind him.
All the way down to the paint on the inside of the racetrack.
Looked like a little contact for Tyler Ankrum back there on the bottom of the racetrack.
Nice run off turn 2 there by Taylor Gray. Able to get beside our leader, Corey Heim.
See Rajah Caruth, this blue and white 71, makes it 3 wide.
Nick Sanchez right in the middle of that action. He slips back. Rajah Caruth gets that position.
Didn't take long for these guys to spread out, and he did it.
I told you, Phil. They're going to be 3 wide for a while on this racetrack. I think you can see here down into turn 1. Tyler Ankrum scraping the bottom of the racetrack.
See the pylon on the left side. Drivers in yellow are your playoff drivers, and you see Grant Enfinger in 10th. In green, he's the only one that has punched his ticket and will race for the championship in 2 weeks at Phoenix.
He jumped right up to the top of the racetrack at the initial start, made a little bit of ground up, then he drives right back down to the bottom.
Wow, Sanchez is loose right there. Daniel Dye right on his bumper. Saw that 2 truck sideways. Here comes Ben Rhodes to the bottom.
Ben Rhodes with a call of the decade, I would say, last year by his bid crew chief, Rich Lucius. Up in the action to start this in that 75 truck. We see them part-time in the series. This week, it's Connor Zillage.
And remember, we have 4 Connors in the field today, so.
Spelled 3 different ways, by the way.
Please forgive us if we get the wrong Connor.
Zillage impressive early in that 75 truck. Down at the bottom. Check out this action.
That's a 75 inside of the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Oh,
so close to a little bit of contact there.
Check it out from Daniel's onboard camera. See Zillage with a nice run. Ben's blocking that line a little bit. Connor says, it's too late, buddy, I'm in.
Yeah.
Boy, Nick Sanchez has his hands full. You saw on the onboard just bouncing all around. There's the one. William Sawalich, one of 2 drivers making double duty today. Sawalich making his Xfinity debut back in the Tricon truck today.
So Ben Rhodes made the move around another one of the Connors. Connor Jones, his teammate in the 66 truck. Is that Tanner Gray already all the way from the back? And that 15 truck pulls in front of Ben Rhodes?
Wow.
Up to 19th from the rear already, only 5 laps in.
He's going to go up there and join his brother, Phil.
Yeah, you know, one thing we have to remember, because he was not able to make a qualifying effort, he started the race on brand new tires. Again, there's only 1.5, 2 laps on these rest of these guys' tires, but that much matters here.
Yeah, you talked to a couple of crew chiefs that told you that they needed every tire to be perfectly fresh when they put them on. We talked about strategy, maybe pitting before the stage break. Maybe we won't see that today because of the value of those new tires.
So you see the 15, Tanner Gray right there, black and white truck, all over William Sawalich. That's his teammate trying to pick up another spot or two right here.
There's no substitute for better tires, especially on a racetrack like Homestead-Miami.
A couple names of the future here. Connor Zilich, William Sawalich battling there. Tanner Gray slipping in between them. Not only names of the future, Phil, but names of the present.
Exactly.
His kids are getting it done.
Sawalich 9 ARCA wins this year. Connor Zilich 5 on a limited schedule. Well, both of those drivers with a limited schedule on ARCA.
71, Araja Caruth. This is the battle for 6th. There's a lot going on in that Ty Majeski truck. Look at that 98.
Remember, we talk about stage points and how important those stage points are. Gosh, we're only 22, 23 laps from the end of stage 1. You don't want to be struggling, possibly like Nick Sanchez here early in this race, and not get any stage points. Right now, he's running 10th, and that would only be 1 point.
Stages, lap 30, as Phil mentioned, lap 60 for end of stage 2. It'll be 134 laps will complete this race. You aren't missing anything up front. Corey Heim continues to lead over Taylor Gray and Christian Eckes.
Watch him work that wheel, Phil. Really dancing around, getting in the center. Look at that. Loose in the center, working the throttle.
Just pedaling that throttle.
And pedaling that steering wheel, too. Oh, trying to make the move on the inside of Matt Mills. Couldn't get it done. Really loose looking.
They're battling for the 24th position right here. Remember, both these trucks had to go to the back for the start, as Jamie mentioned.
It's been quite a couple of days for Lane Riggs. They had problems before practice even got started yesterday. Then after qualifying, the issues that put him to the rear, but he's battling his way up. Battle for 2nd right here as Christian Eckes all over the bumper of Taylor Gray. The 45 right there.
How about that? Caden Honeycutt now. He's going to move to the bottom, trying to make the move around Christian Eckes. Remember, this is Phil Gould-led truck here. This is the same truck, same team that won this race last year with Carson Hocevar.
We mentioned Caden Honeycutt announced this week he will be full-time, and deservedly so. Every time he gets in this truck, we're always talking about him. He's in the mix. He's a factor. So now he's earned that right, and he will be full-time with Nice in 25.
And he's a Cars Tour Pro late model champion, just crowned last weekend.
Congratulations.
Another pass for Tanner Gray and those 2-lap fresher tires.
Up to 15 for the 15 truck after 11 laps. Got around Tyler Ankrum there in the 18. He's one of our playoff drivers. He's got to have a big day today if he wants to see his championship hopes stay alive. Let's get an update on Ty Majeski, Amanda.
Yeah, one of those other playoff drivers that want to keep their hopes alive is the 98 of Ty Majeski. I talked to him prior to this race about Grant Enfinger's win in Talladega, and he said that absolutely hurt our effort. We cannot have another wild card win in this playoff, this championship hunt to Phoenix. Talked about racing at Miami. He won here in 2022 and said that he wasn't one of those drivers that prefers racing the wall here. He said that he was actually using the bottom of 1 and 2 and then racing the seams in 3 and 4. So look a little bit out of that in Ty Majeski today if he's going to look to back up that 2022 win with a good performance here in Miami.
Ty Majeski trying to get around the 7 of Connor Mozak. In 5th spot, as you see the battle right there, Christian Eckes goes for 2nd. It's been a beautiful day so far. We're just getting started here at Homestead, Miami. And welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. Corey Heim continues to lead here. He's led all 17 laps so far. 13 laps to go in stage number 1. Little shuffling behind him. Caden Honeycutt on the charge. Moved into the 2nd spot. You see him there in the 45 truck right up there on the top of the racetrack. Taylor Gray and then Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski in that 5th spot.
Last 5 laps, 2nd place Honeycutt. This beautiful number 45 truck has been faster than our leader Heim, closing the gap.
He's running higher on the racetrack. We've talked about it the entire time, how much grip there is up there, the progressive banking we talk about. He's running a little bit higher than Corey Heim and able to really make some nice ground up.
And you know, if Corey Heim could sit there and lead the race a truck width off the wall, that's certainly a much better plan than scraping up along that wall.
Those black tire marks on that outside wall aren't from running 1 lane below it, are they?
That's right. And Honeycutt has nothing to lose. He's up there running high. He's going to try the bottom here in 1 and 2. Looking around.
You see in the pylon, 7 of our 8 playoff drivers are inside the top 10, including Grant Enfinger highlighted in green. Honeycutt, Connor Mozak, and now Dean Thompson in the 5 truck in the top 10.
Tanner Gray still making his way forward. Toddy's down on the bottom of the racetrack making moves.
Yeah, Michael, that's one thing that is really interesting about what Tanner's doing. Everybody's up at the top of the racetrack, right? We know that that's what you want to do here at Homestead. Tanner loves his truck around the bottom. And if you can wrap the bottom of this racetrack, obviously there's no trucks down there, you're going to make some passes, and that's what he's doing. We've watched him drive to the front. Looking good for Tanner so far.
I like the various grooves, you know, how you can move around, make things happen at this racetrack. You saw there Todd talking about Tanner running low. He goes up to the top. That's the way it works here.
I was watching Xfinity qualifying yesterday, and a lot of the drivers are running the bottom of the racetrack in 1 and 2 qualifying, and then like the upper middle part of the racetrack in 3 and 4, and that's on the same lap.
So often when we run here, we'll have this long green flag run like we are right now. And you know, when the handling starts going away, how nice is it to be at a track like this where you can overcome some of those, you know, things that aren't working on your truck. You got to wait for those adjustments.
I was noticing that it looks like Nick Sanchez's struggles have stabilized a bit. He actually gained a spot up to 9th, and he's not losing any more ground.
There's Sanchez there. We saw how loose. You can see it still is loose.
Well, yeah, maybe it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Talked in the top of the show about Nick Sanchez calling this racetrack home. Came here for the first time when he was 5 years old. I believe it was his uncle brought him here to watch a truck series race. And he went home and told his mom he wanted to be a race car driver. She Googled how to be a race car driver. And then by the time he was about 11 years old, he was racing go-karts in Miami. And look at him now. Arkham Menard Series champion. They've announced he's moving up to the Xfinity Series next year. He'll race for Big Machine in the 48 car.
And he'll do a great job there with Patrick Donahue and Scott Borchetta, that entire team.
So that leads us to wonder who's going to take over the 2 truck. And you know, there's a lot of speculation. We love silly season, but what a great ride this will be for somebody next year.
Well, I want to see Andres Perez go on that truck. Obviously, he won the ARCA championship this year for Rev Racing. That is Rev Racing with an arrangement with Spire Motorsports. So I really want to see, as Caden Honeycutt gets really close to the outside wall and gains ground.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Battle
Look at the
for
momentum.
the lead. Well, Michael, you talked about Caden Honeycutt coming on strong. Look at him, goes to the top. Corey Heim right in the middle. He just cut that lead by 0.4 of a second within a half lap.
You know, those two remind me of each other, Phil. They showed up and we noticed something was special about the way they could wheel these trucks. Corey Heim is now looking in his mirror and seeing another guy that I think is a superstar of the future. Taking some gambles there, risk running that high line. It's even harder, Phil, when you're behind another truck because your vision isn't as good and you don't have your aero downforce.
And Corey moved up the racetrack too. That was probably the highest we've seen him run down there in 3 and 4.
See them going around the 44. Connor Daly in the truck this year for the 3rd time this season, just trying to hang on. Looks like he's got himself a loose truck as well.
It's hard to explain to our viewers how challenging it is to drive these trucks when you lose the amount of grip that these trucks do on this racetrack.
It's fun to watch Caden Honeycutt. We talked about his big announcement, and you know, after he announced that he'll be full-time next year with his team, he said the holidays are going to be a lot more enjoyable, just knowing that I'm there. And now the way he's driving, I mean, talk about the relief on this young man. Today may be his day, just knowing things are locked in and he's not competing for a ride right now.
And we've seen him contend this year. He's had a couple chances to go to victory lane if things would have played out a little bit differently.
You know, Phil, you talked about it's hard to explain to the viewers how difficult it is. Let's just listen to the throttle for Lane Riggs in 1 and 2 as he goes down here. How much pedaling he has to do, and watch his hands. He's driving that truck with one hand. You can see the right hand, he's letting the wheel slip through it there, but he wants to go wide open. And when we go on the restart on fresh tires, he'll do that. But it's certainly a different story now, isn't it?
The pace right now is 3 seconds slower than what we were for the fastest laps early in the race. 3 seconds.
Also love you saying it's hard for us to explain to the viewers at home. That's why I tried to get Grant to do it. Thinking maybe since he's doing it, maybe he could, but it's just really difficult to explain the talent of these racers.
Just about 2 laps to go here in stage number 1.
How about that move by Sanchez getting around Raja? Again, that's another point. Sanchez's truck is coming around a little bit. That gives him the 8th spot. Raja's going to fight back.
And we saw him lose his heck on the 2nd or 3rd lap. So he's just learned how to deal with it. It certainly isn't any better now.
One of the many drivers, I'm sure, that can't wait for the green and white checker to come out, knowing the pit stops are coming. Adjustments to these trucks. 2 laps to go before the end of stage 1. Really good run so far. We mentioned Connor Mozak in the 7. This is the star truck. We've seen different personalities behind the wheel. We've seen different winners with this team.
Yeah, Connor's finished in the top 10 in this truck. He's run some road course races for Junior Motorsports. Had a great 6th place run on the street course at Chicago earlier this year. He's also run some races for Nice Motorsports as well here in the truck series. Looking for him to go full-time next year, hopefully.
Final lap here. And Honeycutt close the door. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Corey Heim will pick up stage win number 1 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Honeycutt 2nd, Ty Majeski, Taylor Gray, Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Connor Mozak, Nick Sanchez, Raja Caruth, and Dean Thompson round out the top 10.
Matt Crafton there, 11th.
What a year it's been for Corey Heim. Picks right up where he left off. Starts on pole, has led every lap so far today. Can he hang on and get his 7th win of the season? Stage 1 is in the books. First round of pit stops coming up. Corey Heim gets those coveted 10 points for picking up that stage win. There it is right there, Stage 1 results and all the points that they pick up with them. Remember, the drivers in yellow, they need all the points they can get.
A lot of yellow up there in that top 10. Tyler Ankrum, the only driver in our playoffs that did not get any stage points.
Great run for Caden Honeycutt. That's just so impressive. Dean Thompson up from 18th to top 10 in that stage. Good run for him. There's that 45.
Yeah, a couple top 5 finishes already with a limited schedule for Caden Honeycutt. I think this is going to be a force to be reckoned with Phil Gould next year.
Next year it's going to be fun, isn't it?
Nice young man. I was looking at his stats. I mean, it's being part-time to jump in and out of this series is no easy feat. You mentioned the top 5s, 5 top 5s so far, but perhaps today maybe he gets that first win.
And this is an interesting part of the race for me. What the comms between the crew and the driver is. You know, what is the driver reporting? How can Caden Honeycutt make that truck even faster than it is? His words and his inflection of his voice, the crew chief, Phil Gould, he'll listen to that and decide how serious his issues are.
Last night, Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam lit up LA as the Dodgers grabbed the opening game of the World Series in historic fashion. Well, Judge and the Yankees, they'll look to bounce back tonight in Game 2. That's 7 Eastern on Fox. I watched most of it and fell asleep before the grand slam.
Yamamoto for LA.
Yeah, rode on for the Yankees. What a great pitcher's duel that was last night. I mean, I watched every pitch of that game. Those pitchers so solid. Such great stories, too, for those pitchers last night. Both of them grew up as fans of the Dodgers and the Yankees, respectively.
Great series, no doubt. So that's tonight at 7 Eastern.
I talked about the comms. Here they come to pit road. Caden Honeycutt has to stop perfectly on his mark so his crew can go to work, and we'll see if they put a wrench in it, how serious the adjustments he needs is. See, top of the screen there, going to work on the right side.
It's going to be 4 tires for everybody here, Michael. No one will gamble on 2 tires here at this racetrack. Todd.
11 Corey Heim started off this race a little too free on entry, but right before the pit stop, he said, don't change anything. The truck is coming to me. I like where it is right now. That's good for the long front speed for that 11 truck. Amanda?
Yeah, Todd, has a nice clean entry into his pit box by Taylor Gray. He went out on his qualifying tires. You'll see new Goodyears going on that truck at the moment. Towards the end of that stage, Jeff Hensley said to him, keep digging, Haas. It is everything to put this guy in position for a championship shot in Phoenix. Jamie?
Amanda looking up and down pit road. Love that. You could see a lot of wrenches, a lot of air pressure adjustments, but Corey Heim, no adjustment. So who got it right? We'll find out. Stage 2 is next. Welcome back to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Got all the adjustments done, new tires put on, and we're ready to start stage number 2. Well, we mentioned there's one playoff driver that finished outside the top 10 in stage number 1, Tyler Ankrum. Let's get an update. Todd.
Yeah, here with Mark Hillman, crew chief Tyler Ankrum. Tyler said the truck was just too free all the way through the corner. Didn't get the stage points you needed. What'd you do to fix the truck?
We went down on a track bar and I pulled a packer out of the left front, big air pressure swing. Took a pretty big Hail Mary at it. So.
Well, that's what we see here at Homestead a lot, right? You got to send that thing out there, get the Hail Mary. Hopefully you got it fixed up for him.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
That's a lot of adjusting. I tell you that. We talk about putting a wrench in it.
That's a kitchen sink.
He pulled a packer too. Let's add that to the equation. Problems on pit road for Nick Sanchez.
Yeah, bad news for Nick Sanchez. He was caught speeding. Let's take a look and see him pull out of his pits. See, towards the top of the screen, you can see the yellow and black truck
right there at the start line.
Yeah, he's out of the pits already.
He's watching his tachometer. He said he did the lights like he's supposed to.
Yeah, they were 3 wide for a moment. It's nothing egregious. It doesn't look like. You saw him gain a little bit on Majeski, but here's the radio after he was told.
No, I was on 1 red. Anything under. Did I speed? There's no way.
All right, sounds like speeding, section 7.
Ow, how the hell did that? Whatever.
Obviously frustrated with that, doesn't agree with the call. Pit road speed is 45 miles per hour, but there's a grace in there.
Yeah, you get 5-mile-an-hour grace period, but those they
take it.
every tenth of a mile an hour of that, and he goes by his tach. There's no speedometers in these trucks. We know that. He goes by his tach and he says 1 red. If I'm 1 red, and they do a pit road pass before the race to test all that, he said 1 red should be good. So he doesn't understand why he was caught speeding, but he's going to have to back off of that a little bit.
50.1 is all. I mean,
50.01,
exactly.
and you're out.
You're
black and white.
You're going to the back.
Yeah.
So Nick Sanchez ended stage 1 in 8th. He'll fall to the back of the lead lap trucks. That'll put him right now, it looks like 25th. So he's got a lot of ground to make up after that mistake.
But that truck was crazy loose earlier. So if they made that truck better, we saw how Tanner Gray was able to race through the field. There's a lot of grooves to pass here at Homestead. So still not out of it.
Corey Heim, Taylor Gray.
Taylor got out of pit road, off of pit road before Honeycutt. So we got a replay of the front row.
We have
going at it.
We have rankings of pit crews for the year. That 17 truck ranks at the top of the board for the year on pit road.
Interested to see how the 45 of Caden Honeycutt, how his truck will do here after those adjustments. Green flag in the air once again. Side by side, Taylor Gray trying to hang on. Does he have anything for Corey Heim? He's got him by a nose right now. They fan out 3 wide behind him. Taylor Gray, can he clear Corey Heim?
Going to have a little help from Eckes in the blue and white Napa truck.
Look at that, 4 wide.
Majeski down on the bottom. Dean Thompson at 5 jumped in behind him to push him. 4 wide. There's Mozak in the 7.
Dean Thompson slides up the racetrack. Is that Honeycutt back there?
Yeah, he didn't get a very good start. Back in that bee's nest. Blocking for Ankrum there.
It's Caden Honeycutt. We talked about him restarting 3rd, back in 12th now. Battle for the lead. Corey Heim dropped 2 spots. Christian Eckes, Taylor Gray side by side.
Remember, Christian Eckes has led all but 1 race this season coming into this race here at Homestead.
His stats are unbelievable. When you have a picture of consistency, his face is on it.
Look at that. He's able to close the door, but crossover move by Eckes. He goes to the bottom.
Side drafted a little bit to pull that truck back. He's going to have enough to clear him.
Christian Eckes leads now at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Corey Heim sitting back there in 3rd saying, you guys race hard, race up there.
Go at it, boys.
Go at it.
Or is he thinking, I should have told him I needed a bit of an adjustment. He talked about didn't want to do anything to that truck. But man, these trucks are so evenly matched.
Christian
Nice move
Eckes
there.
talked about his consistency. 18 straight top 10 finishes in a row. You talked about all the races he has led in. Here he does it again. Corey Heim gets around Taylor Gray. He's got his eyes set on the 19.
What about back there in fourth? Grant Enfinger said they had some liberties because of the fact that they're racing in Miami for a in Phoenix for a championship, and they could throw the dice a little bit harder than the rest. He's moving up into the top 5.
Yeah, Majeski had a little bit of trouble on pit road, lost some spots. How about Corey Heim back to the front?
Corey Heim, watch those two duke it out, gave up that lead for a couple of laps. Now he's back to the point with Eckes all over him.
Maybe he didn't need an adjustment, Jamie.
That's what we've looked at all year long. Haven't we? 17 and 19?
You know, these two,
11.
they've been so respectful to one another. They had a brush up once.
IRP, wasn't it IRP?
Yeah, exactly. They talked about it, put it under the rug. But when you're racing that competitively, to do it the way these two have done, you got to commend them.
That last lap down the front straightaway with him, with his nose up to his tailgate, that's what we've seen all year long. That was a great picture of the 2024 season.
Or just the opposite, the other way around.
These two are pulling away. Taylor Gray, 1.2 seconds back. Ty Majeski now in fourth. Grant Enfinger has joined the top 5 officially.
See teammates battling there for Spire Motorsports. 7 of Mozak again, a good run continuing. This is a battle for 6th. Raja said, hey, I need that 6th spot. I need a point. Looks like Raja may be able to get it here. O'Connor's going to fight back on the outside. Good battle here for the 6th position.
Phil, you know how hard it is to do what these guys are doing. Raja trying to hold that low line. His truck wants to drift up. Mozak just trying to swing wide. You can see how hard Raja's in there working on that truck.
It was wiggling for him.
It's been an impressive year for Raja Karuth. Got the win earlier in the season at Las Vegas. Made his way into the playoffs here, battling, trying to hang on, trying to punch his ticket to Phoenix.
There's Nick Sanchez making his way back through the field. You can see quite the traffic jam he's a part of here.
Battling for the 21st spot right here, Michael.
Hasn't made up a lot of ground for Sanchez.
It's just such a deep field. You know, you talk about the competition here and how many trucks can win. This track really lends itself to 2-3 wide racing. You can make moves, but the competition is just so stiff.
And we talked about Tanner Gray and that 15 truck and his move towards the front to start the race. But remember, a couple laps newer tires, had brand new tires. Everybody else had qualifying scuffs.
Whoa.
Ben Rhodes slides up in front of, I think, Dawson Sutton. Is that who that was he slid in front of? And says, thank you, Dawson.
In the 25 truck, he was so impressive a couple of weeks ago. At another 1.5 miles, by the way, at Kansas, finished top 5. This will be his ride full-time next year. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Great action so far today as Corey Heim continues to lead. Just saw our first restart of the day. And it was chaos. Daniel Dye, of course, as always, right in the middle of it as they go 4 wide at Homestead-Miami Speedway. More of that to come.
Welcome back to Miami Homestead Speedway. Corey Heim, we talked about at that last pit stop. He was loose to start the run. The truck came to him, and he's loose again. But, guys, the question I have for you, I don't know if the truck is coming to the racetrack or the racetrack is coming to the truck. This is the most rubber that they've had on the track since they've been here. So what do you guys think on that?
You know, Todd, you mentioned that Corey said the truck was coming to him at the end of that first stage. Well, so was Caden Honeycutt, because he drove right up to his rear bumper. So it was a little surprising that they didn't make any adjustments, but they liked the way that truck was at the end of that run. Yeah, this racetrack is certainly rubbered up, but Todd, we've already lost 2 seconds since the restart, and at the end of the first stage, they were 3 seconds off their fastest lap. So this racetrack is certainly lacking grip. We all know that. And again, these trucks aren't necessarily running right up against the wall like we'll see in the Xfinity race.
Guys, don't look now, but Grant Enfinger on the move. Second fastest lap time, you see it there. He was #1 fastest lap last time by, but they're on the move. Made some good adjustments, Amanda.
Yeah, and Grant Enfinger was just told that by his team. You're one of the fastest trucks on this track right now. Prior to this stage starting, his team told him to pay attention to his grip levels, wanted to know how to set up this truck for stage 3, but Grant told me ahead of this race, I don't have to pay attention to these stage points. That's the best feeling coming in here as the last race winner. I can go out and race, and I will gamble if I need to. Todd?
Christian Eggleston, 19. He says the balance is better this run, just a little snug off. That's one of the only trucks and drivers that we heard say that, snug off. On throttle is better. He's actually, his times per lap is better, running Corey Heim down just a little bit.
He's doing that, Todd, faster than him by about 1/10 that last lap, and you can see that deficit is shrinking. I like hearing that. I'm a little snug off. I haven't seen anyone snug yet anywhere. Maybe he's able to manage that and keep that right rear tire cooler, and that's enabling him to run lap times a little bit better or the same as our leader, Corey Heim.
Can you believe we already have just 5 laps to go in stage #2? This race is flying by, Todd.
Yeah, Michael, I talked to Christian right there at driver intros, and that's one of the things he said to me. His goal today was to manage his right side tires. He knew if he burned that right rear off, it was going to get loose. If he went in there and turned on the wheel too much and burned the right front up, it was going to push. So that is exactly what Christian is trying to do right now, I guarantee it.
He better watch out for that 9 truck right there.
He can watch right out the front window for him. And you see, this is exactly like we talked to Grant about when the race started. He could take more chances. Todd talked about strategy he could use, but watch how close he's running to that wall in turns 3 and 4. And nobody else is really willing to do that because they can't take the chance.
And lap after lap, he's been the fastest truck. We talked about Tanner Gray and the move he made early in the race. He was running 8th in this second stage, got to that outside wall, pushed the envelope just a little bit. Now he's faded back almost outside the top 20.
Man.
Grant Enfinger, 9 trucks, started 9th up to 2nd now as this battle has been heating up a little bit. Corey Day in the 91, the one of William Sawalich. Haven't mentioned Corey Day yet today, making his 3rd truck appearance.
Oh, he'd be out there by that wall, slipping and sliding. He's used to that, but he's doing a nice job, having a good, solid, steady day. I talked about stars of the future and stars of today. These are 2 guys that are on the list, and look at the star of the moment.
Change for the lead. Grant Enfinger just said, see ya, Corey Heim. I'm going to take over and lead for a little bit here with 3 laps to go in stage #2.
And then slides it sideways up off the corner. What a nice move by Grant Enfinger.
Grant told us before the race he thought he had the truck to win the race with. Man, it's got to feel good to be Grant right now.
What a good feeling here for these last 3 weeks, knowing that you're already locked in to Phoenix. You can come here, you can throw caution to the wind. Again, this racetrack doesn't lend itself a lot to strategy. We saw some great strategy last year by Ben Rhodes and Rich Lucius. Maybe we'll see something by some of these playoff competitors in this 3rd stage here.
It's hard to mix up the strategies when there isn't any cautions. You know you're gonna run at the end of each of these stages. If the caution doesn't come out, this next stage, things get mixed up.
Yeah, to your point, Michael, 1 lap to go here in stage #2. We've had 1 caution today, and that was for our stage break.
Yeah, we don't typically get a whole bunch of cautions. Ben Rhodes took advantage of a caution right after the start of the 3rd stage, and that's why the strategy worked for him. You see Corey Heim doing all he can do to keep that 19 of Eckes behind him. Again, these guys know every spot is a point. Grant Enfinger says, I don't need the points, but I'll take that. I'll take the stage win, though.
And he does it. Grant Enfinger picks up his 3rd stage win of 2024. By the way, all 3 of those stage wins in the last 6 races, coming on strong when it matters most. So caution is out. You see Nick Sanchez, not in the top 10, didn't pick up any points there, didn't make up a whole lot of ground as we take a look at how the pass for the lead happened. Grant Enfinger took it, and he is the leader. We'll have pit stops for the 2nd time today. Coming up next, stay with us. Beautiful day here in South Florida. It's hot, but at least we've got the cloud cover right now. Clouds have rolled in as we take a look at total stage points earned today. Corey Heim, no surprise. 19 of 20 points picked up. Caden Honeycutt in white because he's not in the playoffs, and then all the playoff drivers there in yellow.
Yeah, how about Taylor Gray, though? He came in here below the cut line, 12 points. He has the most of the drivers below the cut line. Raja, just a handful of points. Raja finished 9th in that stage. Needs to do a little bit better if he can.
Let's follow his pit stops here as Raja comes to pit road. You see him ducking off. That's Caden Honeycutt there. There comes Raja down into his pit, middle of the screen. The team goes to work there.
We know it's going to be 4 tires again. 4 tires for everybody.
Interesting thing will be, can they make the adjustments with just air pressure? That makes the pit stop faster. Looks like nobody's putting a wrench inside of that truck, Todd.
No, Corey Heim and Scott Zipadelli, they went a little too far in their last adjustment, so we had that wrong. They did adjust a little bit. Corey said the truck was a little too tight through the middle. Amanda?
Yeah, Todd, Joe Scheer Jr. is on his feet over watching this pit stop for Ty Majeski. Said he was nervous ahead of this race, hope they can mitigate the risk that they can't control. Todd?
Yeah, down here, Scott Zipadelli. First time today that you got passed on the racetrack, bud. I know you don't like that, so what you got for Corey this time?
Yeah, we made some tire pressure adjustments, and it seemed like it fell off a little bit, more than I expected. So we went back on that. We're going to try a little wedge and see if we can tune this TRD Pro up for safe light and try to win this race, but it's going okay. Just a long way to go.
Little Scott Cipodelli magic, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. Everything you taught me.
There you go. At least somebody's listening to me.
All right, so Corey Heim sits second right now. Got some adjustments, went back on the first one. We'll see who got it right. Coming up for the final stage of today's race.
Here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
It's just the thrill ride that this place is. They're going to go 3 wide.
You got it, baby.
Got to focus on that track and not over-driving it.
Every lap that goes by, the intensity just ratchets up. We're getting ready to see some crazy action with our truckers.
And we welcome you back to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing from Homestead, Miami. Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, Amanda Busick, and Todd Bodine with you on this beautiful, sunny, but cloudy afternoon. A lot of playoff talk, a lot of action so far as Grant Enfinger picks up stage win number 2. Taylor Gray behind him, Corey Heim in the 11 behind him as we get ready for the third and final stage of today's race.
Yeah, more great pit work by Jeff Hensley's bunch for Taylor Gray.
Picked
Gaining
up
some
4
spots
spots
again. Yes, sir.
You nailed it, Phil. That team's been on it. We're going to choose them up and go racing.
Talked about Grant decides here on the choose.
Top.
I'm going to take, I think he's going to take the top 2 because he's jumped to the top on both the initial start and the start after the end of the first stage.
Caden Honeycutt, you see there on row 3, he went to the top, and that truck was really fast in that stage. He just got a terrible restart and dropped back almost outside the top 10, but was able to rebound and rally, and now he's up on row 3.
So 66 laps completed, 68 laps to go. And that is Corey Day. We talked about him, and he had come in and pitted before that round of pit stops because of this.
Yeah, we showed him racing with that orange and black truck of Sawalich and Matt Mills, and just before this happened. Then he got into the wall and he came to pit road a little bit before pit road opened. That's why he will have to restart from the back of the pack, but better to be safe than sorry. Make sure he doesn't cut a tire down but while riding around it for 2 laps under caution, waiting for pit road to open.
Yeah, they knew it was going to be a lengthy pit stop anyway, getting those fenders pulled away. So just good call there, getting them pit road early.
So Corey Day will restart 26th. He's with McAnally Hilgeman Racing, also Hendrick Motorsports, as you see the HendrickCars.com logos on there. And, you know, there's a lot of speculation where we're going to see him next year, so we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, let's listen in on Ty Majeski's radio.
This is when the strategy is going to get involved. We're looking somewhere between lap 95 and 99 to pit here. And then you got to keep me aware of leaders if they look like they're going to pit.
Thank you, Joe Shear.
The reason why Joe Shear, as we go green flag racing, the reason why he wants to know when the leaders come, he wants to come right then. He doesn't want to leave anything on the table. If he
Oh, contact! Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Taylor Gray to the lead.
Look at the smoke coming from Enfinger's truck.
And the right side of X's truck is bashed in bad.
That's not getting any better. Grant Enfinger back in third. A lot of smoke there. Corey Heim just behind him.
See that smoke continuing from Grant's truck. Again, remember, these are metal bodies. That sometimes that tire will clearance itself. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't.
I think you see Eckes moving away from the wall there so the spotter can get a look at that right side of the 19 Napa truck. See if there's enough damage where they need to think about pit road. Grant's slowing down.
Fortunate turn of events for Grant Enfinger. We know he's locked into the championship 4. He was on a roll, won that last stage, and now he's got significant damage on the left side.
It's so hard as a driver for Grant Enfinger. While he's smelling that smoke, his spotter can see the smoke. Man, you don't want to cut a tire down here at 180 miles an hour.
Meanwhile, Taylor Gray getting a big push by the 19. Christian Eckes gets around him. Eckes got into the 9. Looks like he's fine. No smoke on that race truck right now. Taylor Gray thinks more of it side by side. Can't shake him.
Corey Heim right behind them saying, you guys, again, battle it out here.
Eckes chased Gray down to the bottom of the track to try to side draft, keep him from having momentum.
Majeski's moving up as well in fourth.
Was just gonna say, Ty Majeski, we saw the wrench in the rear of that truck. They made some big adjustments for him, and he's up in the mix.
Do you see Majeski get loose getting down to the corner as we see Grant Enfinger probably felt the tire going down. Tough break for Grant Enfinger. Arguably maybe the best truck here today, Amanda.
Yeah, keep an eye on this watch. It was really disappointing for Grant to come in, and they stayed out a couple laps just to see what was going on. You can see some fuel going into that truck as well, but they said work on those front fenders, guys, as you can see there. They may not take, as you see them working on the rear of the truck, but yeah, they want to get back out as quick as possible.
I think
so
that
the tires are up, didn't have to take them.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risk, but it's also a good gamble. You get that tire clearance a bit and put the fuel in there. That gives him a long way to go before he'll have to pit again.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this contact. We're going to see it. You see Eckes pulled out to try to get to the outside of Taylor Gray. And Grant maybe was coming down a little bit towards the bottom of the racetrack.
It looked like to me Grant didn't know Eckes was going to make that move. Goes to enter the corner low.
Yeah, no intent on either driver's part right there.
Meanwhile, Corey Heim to the point once again. He's led the most laps today, 55 and counting. But Christian Eckes all over his rear bumper, something, Michael, we say every time. We've watched this in and out every race this year.
And the other guy that we put in their class, he's racing side by side with Taylor Gray to get up to third position. That's Ty Majeski in the number 98.
And meanwhile, for Grant Enfinger, certainly may be catastrophic for this race, but not for the championship battle.
It's all about winning in this playoff format.
How good does Talladega feel to Grant Enfinger right now?
Really good, really good. Maybe even better than it did 3 weeks ago.
About Taylor Gray right there in that turquoise number 17. Started on the front row for the first time. The 19-year-old trying to punch his ticket. Meanwhile, he announced he's going Xfinity racing for Taylor Gray. He'll be in the 54 car that's owned now by Ty Gibbs, by the way. They're good buddies, so that ought to be a fun.
How much do you think Coach Gibbs charged Ty Gibbs to be the owner of that Xfinity car?
I wonder what that conversation was like.
How about our points as they run in the pylon? those make sense now. Before the stages end, it's hard to add. It's not hard. It's impossible to put an accurate number together. But now that's where we're at, as we race to see how these guys will shake out against one another here in Miami.
Yeah, nice move by Majeski. Remember, he came in only 5 points above the cut line, but all the stage points, now he finds himself 17 points above the cut line.
And Taylor Gray's the one just on the outside, 17 points back. At this point, he's running fourth. There's not enough points there. 42 hard into the outside wall. That's Matt Mills on fire.
Looked like a right front tire, didn't it, Michael?
I don't know. Was there contact before that? I think the
Maybe been some contact from the 66, but
I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye contact.
I saw the 66 was in close proximity to Matt Mills, but hard contact for Matt.
Yeah, you're right.
Big contact.
There he is, getting out good.
Good to see him.
Hold my breath until that happens.
He was 19th at the time of that impact. And they had issues yesterday, transmission issues, had to start in the back, working his way through the field. He has to have some help taking that helmet off.
Yeah, certainly a lot of smoke in that truck from that tire going down and all the contact. See if we can take a look and see if there was some contact here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. The 66 gets into the backbone, turns him sideways. And again, on these older tires, even though we don't have that many laps since we restarted, it's hard to just change directions on these trucks.
Another look at it there. This is the first caution for contact today.
But all those guys scrambling behind them.
It's been all f***ing year. All f***ing year. He's f***ing me. I'm not going to to him. I'm tired of it. I'm f***ing tired of it.
A lot of frustration there, but what exactly is he yelling about?
Maybe he's complaining about getting blocked or whatever, but that's not the way. And maybe a conversation might be better than something like that. If it almost makes it sound like that he was getting blocked and he was not going to take it anymore and took matters into his own hands.
Connor Jones in the 66, 18-year-old part-time driver right there. A lot of frustration, a lot of emotion in today's race. Stay with us. Plenty more racing action coming your way. we're under caution for the third time today for the incident between Matt Mills and Connor Jones. NASCAR just announcing Connor Jones in the 66, a 2-lap penalty. You see it there for reckless driving and for intentionally wrecking Matt Mills.
Yeah, not only, as we're going to take another look at it, you see the 66 running in the back of Matt Mills. Not only can NASCAR see this video, they also heard his radio communication that we listened to as well. So
I believe I'd park him.
I believe I'd just tell him to take it on to the garage. There's no call. There's no reason for that in this sport. People spend too much money, spend too much time, too much effort to just take somebody out like that.
Plus, it's dangerous.
And then justify it. Try to justify it.
Just a hard hit too.
Yeah.
So Matt Mills' day is done. All right, this will be interesting because I believe our pit window now, Michael, Phil, you think?
It's open.
It's open.
Remember, we saw what Ben Rhodes did last year. I mean, it was a Hail Mary. He came in right about this almost exact lap, within a couple laps of right now, and he was able to make it work and finish second and made it to the next round of the playoffs at Championship 4. But he also got beat by trucks that stayed on the racetrack and pitted under green if this race goes green from here on out. You see, somebody's going to do a Hail Mary.
All right,
Certainly.
Lane Riggs.
More than somebody.
Yeah,
Nick Sanchez, playoff driver there.
Yeah. I like it. And they're gambling on the caution flag not coming out again. Because if it does and everyone else comes in and puts 10, 20 lap fresher tires, then they're going to be in serious trouble.
Big adjustments for Nick Sanchez right there. Todd.
18 to Tyler Ankrum comes in. He started this race off loose, was loose in the second stage. Mark Hillman, crew chief, is over-adjusted. Now they're a little too tight, so they decided to go with the Ben Road theory and come in now, try to make it to the end with the best truck they can.
It's funny because Ben Rhodes literally last year was the only truck that did that, but these people watched what we did too, and they learned from that. And you see several, and Ben Rhodes as well. We'll try to do it again. But several trucks came down pit road, and I think Nick Sanchez and Tyler Ankrum, I think it was a great opportunity for those guys to try to switch it up a little bit.
Connor Jones still being held. It was interesting, the two and Nick Sanchez, we talked about, he had that pit road speeding penalty, went to the tail end of the lead lap trucks, didn't make up a whole lot of ground, so they needed to pit. They needed to do something to adjust on that truck and mix it up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, same thing for Tyler Ankrum. Todd talked about Mark Hillman said they went the wrong direction, got a little bit too tight, and so undo that a little bit. But again, they will be in great shape if we don't get another caution flag from 10 to 20 laps from now, or even, I mean, these guys would pit for a green-white checker,
right?
If they have a set of tires on pit road.
So 55 laps remaining here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, your leaders.
for joining us for racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. 3 races to go in the 2024 playoff, and on that pit stop, you decided not to take it. Joe Shear, what was the reason behind that based on what you've seen today?
Well, we got a pretty good truck that's capable of winning a race, and fall off on tires is too much here, so I don't think that's the play. That's just a gamble. They're going to gamble. So we're going to do the safe deal and go for the win here.
Thank you, Joe. Todd?
Dylan Capello, crew chief Lane Riggs. Now, you got those 2 wins in the bank. You took a little gamble here. What's you doing?
Yeah, I felt like we just need to get a little bit off strategy from those guys. I feel like we got a good truck, got a good read how it is in dirty air coming from the back all day, and just made a little adjustment right there, and just try and drive by them, and then play it out from there for the rest of the race. So just got to do something different sometimes. So we're having fun. Lane's having fun. First time here, he's doing a badass job. So it's going to be a fun day.
He's a good wheel man. Booth?
Dylan Capello has done a great job. I guess that's us. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah.
Done a great job with his driver, Lane Riggs. Found victory lane twice already this season, and it's been so fun to watch. And they do. They have so much fun together.
And Joe Shear said it perfectly. Those guys took chances.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it's all about. What did Rich Lucius do a year ago? Made the call of his career, I think, and it won him a championship. So there's so much on the line, you've got to mix it up sometimes. We know that it's a gamble, and the fastest trucks are those first 4 you see right there, been that way all day long. But you never know what might happen.
Well, Grant Enfinger, we showed that he had the contact with Christian Eckes, had to come in and pit, went a lap down. Well, he got the free pass there, so he's back on the lead lap. He'll restart 23rd. And I'm looking at the drivers who just came in and took that gamble. Chase Purdy back in 17th, the first one on fresher tires. As Corey Heim, Christian Eckes lead him. Green flag is in the air once again.
Man, they block, don't they?
Tanner Gray, that was him in the black and white truck number 15 up in the mix. Started in the back of the field today. Made quick work of it. Haven't talked a lot about him though through the second stage. Corey Heim showing that he is #1 when it comes to restarts. Great job there. As Ty Majeski, they made those adjustments in the 98. Can he take the lead from Corey Heim?
Remember, we only had 9 green flag laps on these tires when we restarted here. Tom Majeski's trying to take advantage of those cold tires without a lot of laps on them to try to get that lead, but I don't think Corey Heim is playing with him.
Nice corner exit for Corey Heim. You see him pull ahead of Ty Majeski. Christian Eckes back in 3rd, and Raja Karuth right there. A little contact again. Raja gets into the 19.
Do want to mention, you see in our pylon, you see that green, that truck in green, Grant Enfinger in the 11th spot. He got the free pass. Remember, after that green flag pit stop, he got the free pass, and he's battling his way back towards the front.
But you got to keep your eye on Lane Riggs. You talked about, Phil, at the start of this race, Tanner Gray with 1 lap fresher tires. Well, this is what 9 laps looks like. Holy cow, what moves he's making. This truck will grab the lead here. Easily within a lap or 2.
It's like a video game watching him on board.
Remember earlier what his throttle sounded like? Oh, he's got her all the way down now, and he is hauling.
Yeah, but he'll be in the lead by the time they get back to the start-finish line on this next lap. Same situation for everybody else. Nick Sanchez, everyone else has stopped and got fresh tires. They will be moving towards the front as well.
You know what? I love that we're able to show the viewers at home what new tires look like.
Yes.
This is it right here. Woo!
Corey Heim said, I'm not going to block. I'm too slow to block that truck on new tires.
New leader, Lane Riggs in the 38. Just heard from his crew chief, Dylan Capello. Said his driver's doing a great job, and yes, he is. To the lead for him for the first time today over Corey Heim.
Now, right now, Dylan Capello, Lane Riggs are saying, please, no more cautions. Please, no more cautions. Because he knows that those drivers that did not pit on that caution flag will come to pit road under green, and they will get fresh tires, and they will be coming.
And I think it's also a little bit reasonable to think, as you see other guys marching through the field, Grant Enfinger there with Connor Mosack, I think it might be interesting to see if Riggs lays off the pace a little bit, or it saves a little bit of fuel, saves a little bit of tires, so he's good all the way to the end of the race.
How many laps do we need?
3. We're still trying to work on some different numbers here, so you just save everything you can.
Copy.
And that's what I was just talking about. He needs to save 3 laps of fuel, does Grant Enfinger. I'm sure Lane Riggs is in the same situation. These guys pitted a couple 3 laps before. We talked about the call of his career, Rich Lucius. He pitted on lap 81. These guys pitted a couple laps before that, so they have to worry about fuel.
And you see Grant Enfinger just making the pass on Christian Eckes. You might want to say, how is he going to save 3 laps of fuel? That's almost 5 miles. That's by not using any brake, backing off the throttle a little bit earlier, just throttle time. It's throttle time is what it is. They have to minimize the throttle time. And it's going to be hard to do to gain 3 laps because we're talking about gaining 3 laps over the course of about 53 or 4 laps.
And Nick Sanchez, another one of those that took that gamble, came down pit road, got fixed up, fresh tires, and some adjustments. They had to do something different because what they were doing was not working. He was outside the top 10 at the end of stage 2. Now he picks up the 2nd spot and goes around the 11.
And I love this strategy. We talk about Ben Rhodes. We've talked about Ben Rhodes in last year a lot. Ben Rhodes finished 24th in the first stage last year. That's what kind of truck he had, and he ended up finishing 2nd, almost winning that race. Again, they made that truck better as the race wore on, but the strategy is what got him to that championship 4 and winning his 2nd championship.
See Ben Rhodes there. I know, so disappointed when he was eliminated from the championship. But he was a happy guy today on pit road. Both of his little babies here, his wife, all supporting him on pit road as Rhodes goes around Taylor Gray.
Remember, Ben, same situation. He came to pit road back on that most recent caution on lap 81.
Grant Enfinger in 6th right now. Ty Majeski fell off just a bit. Saw him pushing there for the lead, but now he has fallen back to 5th.
Yeah, Ty Majeski is going to be no match for these trucks that have fresher tires. Grant Enfinger will make quick work of this, I would assume.
Yeah, he's running 2nd, if you will, to Corey Heim, who's on the same strategy. So we're going to see a lot of comers and goers here over the next 40 laps or so.
Working lap number 91, 43 laps to go. Our leader, Lane Riggs, he's leading the race and breaking cameras. Lane Riggs continues to lead here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, putting those fresher tires to good use. Last pitted lap 79. These things, he's gonna look like a genius if we go green to the end.
Well, that's what Rich Lucius looked like a year ago, a genius, and we're already getting our arms around some math if this caution flag doesn't fly, because Ben Rhodes pitted on lap 81 last year. and Carson Hostbarn pitted on 102. So that might be when you look for these leaders to start making their break for pit road. And he got there with 10 to go and made the pass. So there's plenty of time for the guys like Corey Heim and Ty Majeski that stayed out. There's plenty of time for them to pit and still win this race. Yeah. So just beware. We're going to have to do a lot of math over here, figuring out who's where when the pit stops do go down.
Meanwhile, Corey Heim, the highest running driver with the oldest tires, he's back in 5th. He last pitted on lap 63.
Grant Enfinger continued to march through the field as you see Mozak slipping and sliding up top. Grant's overcome that run in he had with Christian Eckes. Rebounded to top 3 right now.
Remember, he's in the saving mode too. Needs to save 3 laps according to his crew chief. How about here's the first truck to pit road. Rajat Karuth, the 71.
I like this.
Lap 98 opts to come in, get fresh tires and fuel. Last stop of the day.
We heard Joe Shear talk about lap 95 to lap 99, but remember that was before the caution. I think those caution laps moved that window a little bit. Because we know Raja's going to have about 35 laps on these tires when he gets to the end of the race, and that is his last good new set of tires that he's put on just now.
I like hopping in there first. You're going to drag the others in with you, but we talk about 3 seconds of fall off. I mean, you gain those 3 seconds. That could be the difference in the race for him, Todd.
Christian Eckes, 19 in. He's still a little too tight. He's been too tight this whole race. Going to put a little air pressure in the right rear, out of the left rear. I think they can get it to the end and have some laps on those tires.
Nice adjustment for Christian Eckes.
Yeah, Michael, as you mentioned, Rajat Karuth was going to bring them all to pit road. Here comes Majeski. I think we're going to see a steady line of trucks.
I think that's exactly what we're going to start seeing down here. You were talking about if that caution pushed the pit stops a little bit. For the 98, it was either pit on this lapper to see what Corey Heim was going to do. Ty Majeski was told to push as hard as he could prior to this stop. Should be good to go to the end of the race on this. As you can see, the tires coming on for the 98.
Little trouble there on the right rear of Caden Honeycutt's stop. Really slow.
See left side going on for Majeski. Again, remember, those guys now, they don't have to worry about fuel. All those guys that pitted early, like Grant Enfinger, now also has to think about fuel in addition to maximizing those older tires.
Todd.
11 to Corey Heim. He's got a little tight that last run, still a little too tight in the center. Again, another air pressure adjustment in the back from Scott Zipadelli. But overall, Corey likes the balance of his truck.
I like it too, Todd. He's been right up front all day long, and now getting these tires at this point, comparing to last year, he's got enough time to run down Lane Riggs. We'll see how it plays out.
Taylor Gray, one of the fastest pit crews on pit road, getting service done on that 17 truck as they work the left side. Been a solid day for Taylor Gray, but will it be good enough? Win and you're in. That's all you got to do, right?
Now there's an opportunity for another gamble. Those drivers that have not been to pit road, do they wait a little longer? If they could catch a caution with 15, 20 laps to go, then they will have such an advantage over these drivers pitting now and their tires. I mean, somebody like Chase Purdy right now, William Sawalich running back around the 9th and 10th positions.
I just think these races are so interesting. In my brain, I'm thinking there's no way they're going to run all the way to the end without a caution. And it's starting to shape up like that's exactly what's going to happen.
And I keep telling you, but they didn't last year. They didn't have a caution. I know, they're due. They're due a caution.
Time.
See Lane Riggs coming up on Marco Andretti, getting into some lap traffic.
Man, he likes to work that wheel, doesn't he? Look at that. Turning to the right.
Look how light his grip is. You watch his fingers.
It's his left hand doing all the work.
On the left side of on the right side of our pylon, these are the laps since pit. Obviously for Lane Riggs and Sanchez, 24 laps. Enfinger pitted a lap later than them, so they have to manage fuel. But I think with a fall off, Michael, of 3 seconds, wouldn't you think that's certainly going to improve the fuel mileage just in itself?
That's exactly right. The only thing that's a little bit confusing is Lane is still just really working the wheel and really slipping and sliding. It doesn't look like he's backed his pace off any at all.
Lane Riggs with a 1 second lead over Nick Sanchez. Grant Enfinger back there, stage 2 winner, had that damage. Based on strategy, they fixed up that race truck too. It was a hard hit he had with Christian Eckes, but he's up to 3rd. And Connor Mozak, really impressive today in the 7 truck in 4th. Tyler Ankrum round out the top 5.
I mean, we're close. If he just gives us a little bit each time, you know, like, I just need to know if he's at 100%.
I mean, I'm trying to catch the 38. I'm not abusing my tires, but I'm not leaning over. Okay.
Rolling the dice, huh?
Yeah, he would like to save a little bit of fuel. He would like to know that Nick's trying to save a little fuel. Nick said, no, I'm going after the 38. I'm not laying over.
Said it before, Sanchez, one of those drivers. He needs to win to guarantee a spot in Phoenix. He's on the outside looking in, and right now, less than a second behind our leader, Lane Riggs.
Watch this. Corey Heim with his tires and enough fuel to go the distance. He's a lap down right now. Goes around Enfinger, set his sights on Sanchez and Riggs, and we'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, I'll be there in just a couple laps.
Couple corners.
Couple corners, exactly. There he goes by Sanchez. Sanchez, the black and yellow truck on the outside. Now he's within a second of Riggs. He'll close that up and pass him before we get back to the start-finish line.
The speed differential, old tires versus new, is just incredible to watch.
And fun to watch as well.
It's like they put their Superman cape on and watch me go. That's what the 11 is doing right now, and Riggs knows Corey Heim is coming.
That's what people would always ask, what's the most fun you can have driving a race car? And this is it. When you have better tires than anybody else, it doesn't get any more fun than that, does it, Michael?
Corey Heim around the 38.
26.
Only 7 miles an hour faster than our leader.
26 to go in the race, and he's beating him a second and a half. If I do the math correctly, he can get there.
Well, that'll go down a little bit. We won't see a second half every lap. It's eventually going to get to a second, and then maybe 3/4 of a second.
You're exactly right, Michael. I spoke with Dylan Capello, Lane's crew chief, and he's actually back-figured the lap times, trying to figure out what speed they have to run to not let Corey Heim catch them by the end of this race. Dylan said it's around 36 flat, 36 teens. He knows he needs to be there. He back Lane down. Lane can go a little faster than that, but he said, we can't do it. We got to save it for the end. And the opposite of that, Scott Zipadelli just told Corey Heim, give it all you got. Go wide open.
Go to the whip. Let's do this.
How nice is that to hear as a driver?
Oh, it's the best. Another second and a half that lap. I'll keep you abreast of it, and that will get him there if the caution doesn't fall.
Battle for second right here. Grant Enfinger just no give up in that team, even though they know they're good. They're moving on, but Nick Sanchez, it's all or nothing.
Remember, that's the same strategy that they're on, same tire strategy for the 9 and the 2. And I'm looking at our scoring monitor right there. There are only 2 trucks that I talked about maybe gambling again, and that's the 25 of Dawson Sutton running 10th and the 15 of Tanner Gray running 8th. They have not put their last set of tires on yet. If we would get a caution flag now, anytime now before the end of the race, they will be in a great position.
Working on the math with stat guy Joe, and he says that he thinks that 11 will get there with 5 to go. Just doing the math like the crew chiefs do down on pit road.
Yeah.
Talking about Corey Heim, you see him in 11th there, 31, now 30 seconds back, unlapped himself. So now his eyes are forward. Wouldn't that be something if he's able to do it? Our stat boys, they don't mess up. We'll see if it's true.
Well, I've got my shoes off, and when I can do the math, I see it too. I think it's going to work. Todd, what's happening?
Yeah, Michael. You think, our stats guys they're optimistic. Well, they're pessimistic. The crew chiefs are a little optimistic. So Dylan thinks they can slow down that little bit and be only 6 seconds.
Look at this battle right now for the lead. Grant had it for a few seconds. Lane Riggs said, no, I'm going to hang on to it. I like where we're running right now. 22 laps to go from Miami Homestead.
In that last lap, Grant Enfinger ran below 36 flat, chasing down the 38 of Riggs.
That's a fast, long-run truck. We've seen it all day, and that's what you need right now is that 9 of Enfinger.
See Eckes, he's one of those trucks that's already pitted. He wants to try to unlap himself, so if the caution flag were to come out, he would not have to take the wave around. He would be able to come down pit road, maybe have some colder tires, because again, he doesn't have any new tires left.
I don't think we factored in exactly the speed of the 9 truck now for my equation, because
you were talking about the 38.
I said he would get to the 38. I didn't say 9, so don't be yelling at me, Phil.
And there goes Christian Eckes officially unlapping himself as we cross the finish line there. We've reached our Craftsman 20 to go. Grant Enfinger, the leader. Lane Riggs, Nick Sanchez, Connor Mozak, and Tyler Ankrum hanging in the top 5.
That last lap, Corey Heim was only 1 second faster than Grant Enfinger, and he's 26 seconds behind.
I can do that math real quick. That don't equal up.
That doesn't add up, does it?
Corey Heim picks up 1 more spot. He's now inside the top 10.
Another guy with a good run, Stuart Friesen. He's up in the 5th position, moving forward. Same strategy as the leaders.
Remember, on the left side in the pylon, Grant Enfinger is highlighted in green because he has punched his ticket to the championship round in 2 weeks. The others in yellow, those are the playoff contenders. They have today and 1 more race after this to lock themselves in. 19 laps to go. Can Grant Enfinger hang on, or will it be one of those guys like Corey Heim? Stay with us. Welcome back to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Things are heating up, 15 laps to go. We've got different strategies, boys, trying to see if this is all going to play out. Will it work out for Grant Enfinger?
There's only one guy that's standing on an island by himself right now that would love to see the caution fly this moment, and that's the 15 of Tanner Gray. He has not pitted. He's going to be about out of gas, but if the caution flag flies right now, Phil,
I think he's coming right now.
Yeah, he had to. I mean, he took the gamble.
And it was a good gamble. Dawson Sutton did the same thing. He pitted about 2 laps ago. It was a great gamble. If the caution flag would have come out prior to him pitting, he wins the race, I think, going away. But unfortunately, it didn't for him. You see Daniel Dye, who just out-lapped himself on our leader, Grant Enfinger. And I'm watching the timing and scoring, and Corey Heim is not making the ground up that we felt like he needed to. I don't think there's any way that Corey Heim is able to, and he is a lead truck of those guys that pitted under green just now. I don't think there's any way he has enough time to catch that 9 of Grant Enfinger.
So Grant Enfinger, the 9, is the leader. Corey Heim on the right side in the 11 truck, shown in the 8th spot.
That was Raja Karuth we saw right there, that blue and white truck, unlapping himself from Grant Enfinger.
I think the most impressive thing about what Grant Enfinger is doing right now, last time by, he had the 4th fastest time on those older tires. What an impressive run for that 9 truck.
CR7 Motorsports, congratulations to them. They got their first official win as a team at Talladega just a few weeks ago, and of course now they'll have a chance to race for a championship. Amanda, what are they saying?
Yeah, you were watching Grant Enfinger running behind Raja Karuth just there. The team was telling him, and try to limit passing as much as you can. Draft and save. Draft and save.
Well, Grant is a veteran, though. He knows how to do this. He's been at this game a long time. He knows how to save some fuel, and I'm sure he can come back and tell Jeff Stankiewicz, yeah, I saved you a good bit there.
He's going to go to Phoenix, as you said, and try to become a champion, just like it says on his truck.
I see what you did there. I like it.
There's Corey Heim right now. Again, he's the guy we're thinking about. Nobody else seems to have the pace that it's on the same strategy as Grant Enfinger. There's Corey. You see him over a half lap behind here.
It ain't happening.
With just 10 laps to go, it's not going to. Well, I just haven't seen the pace out of Corey when he put those fresh tires on that he needed to.
You also have to remember, though, Grant's got to make sure he saves that fuel you're talking about. The team had to make sure they got it all fueled up. Yeah. There's still some variables left as we race toward the checker.
Again, all 7 trucks right now in front of Corey Heim are on that same strategy, pitted within a lap or 2 of what Grant Enfinger did under that last caution.
And just a reminder, Grant Enfinger pitted on lap 80 and Corey Heim pitted on lap 100. Let's listen in.
The 9 is either going to run out or win by a mile. 38's been running the high side, though, through 1 and 2. I think we're the best one on fuel. If we can just give up a little bit to try to make it. But, yeah, give it up.
Didn't give it up because he's 9 seconds ahead of Connor Mozak right now, running in 4th. So he has a lot of cushion to give up there.
Didn't he tell him a little while ago he wasn't giving up?
Yeah.
Well, it might have changed his mind.
He was going after the 38. What was that, 20 laps ago? He was going after the 38.
Yeah, this played out a lot like we saw at our last mile and a half in Kansas with the fuel mileage and the strategy and running out late.
Grant Enfinger, he talked about the win a couple of weeks ago and said it was the biggest win of his career because his family was there. Both of his children got to witness the win and be there with him. The only member of the family that wasn't there is his pig named Wilbur. Wonder if he brought him this time around. How cool for Grant Enfinger if they could pull this off after the damage, the run-in with Christian Eckes, get that truck fixed up, little strategy call, and now he continues leading here, looking for his 2nd win in a row.
I don't see anybody with a pace that will challenge Grant Enfinger if we don't get a caution flag. There's Jeff Stankiewicz, crew chief, a former Truck Series champion crew chief for Sheldon Creed, calling the shots.
And you see Grant's taking as low of a line as he thinks he can and still have that pace that he has, just making the track shorter, saving the fuel.
He's not even racing the 11 of Corey Heim right now. He's still racing the 38 of Lane Riggs. Lane Riggs right now being shown a little over 2 seconds behind Grant. There's Lane running right up against the wall. Again, it's a longer way around the racetrack. Probably faster, but a longer way around the racetrack. And that's what the spotter for Grant Enfinger was talking about.
Corey Heim about 1 second and 4/10 quicker than our leader Enfinger last time by.
Yeah, Corey's going to get up into the top 5, I think, with 6 laps to go. We're close to the top 5.
Corey Heim still shown in the 8th spot. And it's interesting, you guys always talk about, you know, the rookies versus the veterans and that experience. And Grant's been in this, been at it a long time, knows exactly what he needs to do. Whereas Lane Riggs, it's his first full-time year. He's just doing what he thinks he needs to do. But right now, about a 1.7 seconds back now to Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, but if I'm Lane Riggs right now, yeah, I know I'm close on fuel. I'm not in the playoffs. I'm going to try to go after that 9 truck. If I run out of gas, so be it. But I don't want to sit here knowing that I had more than maybe enough to challenge that 9 truck and have enough fuel to get to the end.
Okay, Phil, watch this. He agrees with you. That's exactly what he's doing. He's hammered down right out next to the fence. We see him sideways with his wheel. What a great race.
Again, that's not a battle for position. Caden Honeycutt now still a lap down. He is the lead truck 1 lap down. If the caution were to come out, he would get the free pass.
Caden Honeycutt, so strong early on. Talked about him a lot, and then he had that bad restart. Got shuffled back. We haven't really talked a lot about him.
We saw the same thing that happened to Sanchez. Remember, a penalty on pit road for speeding. Second stage, really didn't see anything there, but the strategy has him right now running up in the 3rd spot. And I think he definitely has backed off the pace. I think he's slowed down at least a second because of all that gap he had back to Connor Mozak to try to ensure that he has enough fuel to get to the end.
I just have to tell you, though, saving fuel or strategy, Grant Enfinger, who's in the lead and in control of this race, if he doesn't run out of gas, he has the fastest truck. He has the fastest truck in the long run. Corey Heim's truck falls off too much. But this truck right here is solid right now.
Yeah, I'm sure Corey Heim is in traffic right now, but he actually was slower than the 9 truck of Enfinger that last lap.
There's Corey Heim working his way around the 18.
That is a battle for position. That is a battle for the 6th position. And Lane Riggs officially runs out of fuel like the spotter for Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez said he would.
Yeah, running up next to that high line and hammer down. We saw
like another truck maybe out of fuel right in front of him. Can they keep it down on the bottom of the racetrack, get to pit road without bringing a caution out?
I think that was Chase Purdy in the 77 truck, but meanwhile,
white flag is in the air for Grant Enfinger.
That's all he wanted to see was that white flag. Now he just hopes he has a few tenths of a gallon of gas.
Nothing to lose coming into this race. Little bit of strategy. The pit crew got it done, fixed that truck up despite the damage. Jeff Stankiewicz working his magic, working the numbers, telling his driver exactly what he needs to do, where he needs to be, keep enough fuel in that race truck to get it done. The 2 and Nick Sanchez in 2nd is out of gas. Checker flag is in the air for Grant Enfinger. He goes back-to-back wins. Well done. I'm sure they held their breath for a while there.
Wow. How do we do this, man? We always have such entertaining events.
And guys, Nick Sanchez pitted 1 lap before Grant Enfinger. 1 lap.
The experience you guys were talking about. Communication with his team.
With all, I think Stuart Friesen also ran out of fuel right at the very end, and Corey Heim ended up finishing 4th.
You said he'd make the top 5. There he did.
We have the heat, man. You just have the best truck. So took a disadvantage, made a good call, made it an advantage. Great job. I think we got fuel for a burnout.
Oh.
I love it.
That's a driver knowing exactly what he's got.
You know, when your truck handles better than the rest, you're gonna burn less fuel, and he just did everything perfectly. Now he's going to do a burnout perfectly, he seems like.
12th career win and his 194th start. Grant Enfinger, the 39-year-old from Fairhope, Alabama.
All those playoff drivers say, man, if we can't win, go Grant, go Grant.
No doubt.
How about Connor Mozak with a career best finish of 3rd?
You talked earlier, Phil, about how strong he's been this year with the finishes, top 5.
They were steady Eddie today. That 7 truck never wavered. Top 5, start to finish.
And a great call by Mark Hillman. Todd kept us up to date with Mark Hillman the entire race. They end up finishing 5th with that gamble on pitting.
See the unofficial results on the bottom of your screen. Nobody else is officially locked in. Next race, next Friday night from Martinsville. That will be elimination night. One more opportunity to join Grant Enfinger and burn it down. Talk about turning it up, turning that wick up when it matters most. This team getting it done. So close for Nick Sanchez. Just not enough. Runs out of fuel at his home track.
He was another one of those drivers that pitted one lap before Grant Enfinger did.
And he's thinking, how in the world did Grant just do that?
And a burnout.
And a burnout. Just to put it in their face a little bit. This is how you do it, boys.
In your face.
Enfinger led 32 laps today. The helmet is off. Amanda, you're with the winner.
Oh, and he's going to climb out of this as a back-to-back winner here in this 2024 season. And Grant Enfinger, you told your team, I have enough fuel to do a burnout. And Grant, I want to go back towards the end of that race. You and your team are going back and forth on that fuel save. How much conviction do you have in this crew?
Man, we've had a truck actually just as good at Darlington. Kind of just had bad circumstances. My buddy Tyler Young let a tear off get on our grill. Kind of took us out of contention there, but I think the truck we had here was equally as good. And I feel like we were able to take a disadvantage with whatever happened on that restart. I didn't think I did anything wrong, and my buddy Christian was, I guess, trying to split the middle and just cut our tire a little bit. But just racing, Tim wanted to carry. He wanted to restart on the bottom. I wanted to restart the top, so I guess he was right on that one. I was wrong. But at the end of the day, Jeff Sankwitz just had the best truck out here. This Champion Power Equipment Chevy was really fast after about 5 laps yesterday, and it was the same way today. So Tim did a good job of managing me with the tires, and then Jeff did a good job managing me with the fuel. I felt like I saved at least 20% more than I did in the first run. But yeah, Jeff was on me pretty hard. Obviously, the 38 ran out. Looked like the 2 ran out as well. So yeah, hard to beat these 2 weeks.
Your team on the radio after you crossed the line and saw that checkered flag said, you are the man. 2 wins in this playoff. How great is it being Grant Enfinger right now?
It's definitely good. You know, like I said, we've had potential all year, and I don't feel like there's been some times I haven't executed. There's been some times we just had bad luck, but maybe this is the time we get our momentum. And like I told the guys, we'll just not get too worked up over this one. Just focus on Phoenix. But it's hard not to have momentum. I think according to my buddy that tells me all the things I need to know. That should mean we got pit stop choice or pit stall choice for Phoenix. But yeah, just overall proud of the execution of these guys, and more than anything, just proud of the speed. I mean, we had the fastest truck all day, and when you do that, you can even have some slip ups or mistakes and overcome them.
Grant Enfinger, your winner at Homestead-Miami. Todd?
Yeah, Corey Heim, not the day you wanted. I know you're disappointed, but you had another fast truck. The good news is you're second in the playoff points, 49 to the good. Tell me what's your day.
Yeah, I mean, overall, a good day for points and whatnot. Obviously, the main goal is to get to Phoenix, but yeah, disappointing. I mean, we were so fast last year and wanted to come back and redeem ourselves and win the race, of course, but no complaints as far as points go. Makes Martinsville a little bit easier. Of course, we still have to put together a decent day, but proud of all my Tricon Garage, Toyota Racing, Safe Flight guys for all their efforts. Oddly enough, we struggled with long run speed, which typically isn't our forte, but we definitely fired off a lot better than we ended the run. So I thought once we got through the cycle, and we had a lot better on the 98 as far as tires, and then we had the 3-second gap or whatever, we were able to drive away and see those guys run out of gas, but it just never fell our way.
Corey Heim, good run at Martinsville. He'll put himself into Phoenix in the playoff 4. To Jamie.
Yeah, Todd, great day for Corey Heim, all in all. Led the most laps, 68, won stage 1. As you see the playoff leaderboard of the round of 8, Grant Enfinger, of course, punched his ticket, but you see the boys that we came in talking about below that cut line, they're still there. One quick note, Matt Mills had that hard hit into the outside wall in the 42. He has been taken for further evaluation to a local hospital, so we're certainly thinking of Matt Mills. So next Friday, I mentioned it, that's the elimination night. Practice and qualifying on FS2 at 1:30 Eastern. Truck Series racing coming up right after that. 6 to 8 p.m. on FS1. We'll lock in the championship 4. College football today on FS1. Maryland at Minnesota. That's 3:30 Eastern. And tonight, it's going to be a good one. New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. Game number 2. Thanks so much for joining us today. For Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, Amanda Busick, Todd Bodine, and our entire crew, I'm Jamie Little. So long, and congratulations, Grant Enfinger.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.